Is this on?
Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Shut up, fool!
You think you know me?
What's up, guys? It's Around the Turnbuckle. It's Saturday night at 6 o'clock, and that right over there is Professor Keith. And we are joined tonight by the future. Keith, he's the future Epic Scorpion. What's up, my man?
How you guys doing? Glad to be a part of the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're off and running, guy. Listen, man, we've interviewed so many guys. We're about to hit our 1 year anniversary. We're excited to see you. We're excited to be with you tonight. And all I want from you from the beginning, from the get-go, is once upon a time, you were a fan like us before you jumped in the ring and started to learn how to do this. So, with that being said, how old were you? When did you fall in love with professional wrestling?
Honestly, I fell in love with professional wrestling when I was like 4 years old. It honestly came to me because of my dad. We used to sit around and like at 8 o'clock on Mondays. I used to stay up late too. Like he wouldn't care. That was like the only day where like I could stay up late, and I would stay up and watch WCW Nitro with him. From there, like I used to see guys like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, and instantly, like when I saw like their matches, like with Dean Malenko, automatically I fell in love. And also, my dad always like we used to get so hyped watching the show that like he would take me to the bed and just like start scoop slamming me and stuff and like so honestly, like I just fell in love with the whole thing, and I was like, guys actually get paid doing this, and they have so much fun. And I'm like, oh, I got to try this when I get older, But yeah, that's how I fell in love with the business.
Absolutely. So, who you mentioned Dean Malenko? Was there any other? Who were your favorites as you were a kid during the Monday Night Wars? Who were some of your favorite superstars?
Are we talking WWE or I'm sorry, WWF
Either or,
or
man.
WCW?
Dude, I used to have two TVs going. I used to watch them both at the same time.
Well, for WCW, I used to always like to tune in for guys like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko, Diamond Dallas Page,
oh yeah,
and of course Sting.
Sure.
I always tuned in for Sting. Was my all-time favorite.
How about WWF, WWE?
Say that again.
How about WWE?
WWE. I would tune in to like watch Stone Cold, The Rock, DX. I used to love DX, like when, especially like back in the day, like when they were a little bit more crazier with this stuff.
Right.
I used to always tune in to watch their like craziness.
Right.
Huh?
No, right. I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I used to tune in to watch DX, Kurt Angle. Like I used to always like love watching those guys.
So how old were you when you said, I want to try this? I want to get into the ring.
Honestly, I was actually looking to get into the ring as early as possible. So I tried looking when like I was like 14 and 15 years old, and everybody kept telling me that you had to go out to Long Island. And I live out in Queens. So,
Okay.
Hearing that's like kind of like a drive. So like I was like a little bit like intimidated by that. So like I fell back from it for a little bit. But it was like when I turned 17 going on 18, I found a spot out in Brooklyn, and it was under Johnny Rods.
Okay.
So I used to train out in Gleason's gym with Johnny Rods, and from there the rest is history.
So I mean,
distinguished pedigree there to be training with Johnny Rods. A lot of great workers have come out under Rods. Most of ECW is alumni were trained by Johnny Rods.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Say that again.
I was saying a lot of ECW's alumni were trained by Johnny Rods. Johnny Rods a very distinguished trainer for anybody in the audience that doesn't know.
Yeah, he trained guys like Tommy Dreamer, Taz, guys like Bill DeMott. Yeah, Johnny trained a lot of good people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good people.
So talk about that first match you did in front of a crowd. Who did you wrestle? How did you feel?
The first match I did in front of a crowd was actually a battle royal.
Ooh.
It was fun. I had face paint on. I was going by a different gimmick at the time.
Mhm.
I had face paint. I was nervous seeing everybody, like, you see, it's different from training to actually like coming out to like music and like seeing a whole bunch of people surrounding the ring. It's a completely different experience. So when my first thing was like my heart was racing and like I felt like the whole place like went deaf. Like that's like the best way I could put it. But I was immediately woken up when I saw like a fist coming towards me, and I automatically kicked in and started selling. So automatically, yeah, like I would say the battle royal was my first experience with the crowd, and it was nerve wracking, but I must say it was like one of the best experiences because ever since then, I've just been so completely addicted to the feeling.
How long did you train from the time that you started till you went out to Long Island, you said, to the time you started wrestling? How long of a training did you have?
Well, I started training when I was 17.
Mhm.
I'm 29 now.
Right.
I started training when I was 17. Um, I was with Johnny for about like a few years on and off. Then I went out to North Carolina for a little bit and I did some shows out there and I did a little training out there as well. Then after North Carolina, I came back to New York. Yeah, I came back to New York and I started training back out here again. And yeah, that's where I am currently.
And you're still wrestling there, same promotion? Have you wrestled anywhere else?
When I was with Johnny, I was doing the WW. When I went to North Carolina, I ended up wrestling under a promotion called the NRLL. They were a good promotion. I had so much fun out there. Because I actually went out there, I was actually able to perform in front of an actual city. Like I was performing in the middle of the city because like we did like a little festival, and it was surrounded by like literally the entire people of the city. So
Oh, we lost him, Keith.
Yeah.
He seemed to have internet that was chopping in and out, and that's probably why he was having trouble seeing us or hearing us a lot of times, because it looked like he was outdoors and maybe he's got, wife and kids in the house and you don't want to get interrupted. But I'll text him. Oh wait, here he comes. He's coming back.
sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
All right, man, we got you. We got you.
Yeah, so I don't know what just happened.
It happens all the time. Sometimes if you're in a bad connection, or if maybe because you're outside, sometimes it happens where they cut in and out and then they come back. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So you remember what you're saying?
Yeah, so I was with the NRLL for a little bit, and I did a few shows for them. And like I said, we performed in the middle of Charlotte, North Carolina for a festival, and
Lost him again.
I think North Carolina is just like,
He says North Carolina and he disappears.
He will not tell stories from Flair country. He will not.
When he says North Carolina, I immediately want to go woo. But
yeah, you said Charlotte, no less too. I mean,
that's just me.
That's the heart of Flair country.
There he is.
I'm so sorry.
You don't. Hey, it happens to us all the time. Just we're good.
But yeah,
North Carolina, Charlotte.
I ended up performing in front of the entire city, which was cool. One of the greatest experiences I have ever had because I've never heard a pop like that in my entire life.
Right.
And I must say, it was like a sonic boom of adrenaline, and
Nice.
it's honestly like one of the greatest experiences I've ever had.
Tell us about the evolution of Epic Scorpion. Where does that come from? You mentioned Sting earlier. That's when you say Scorpion, that's the first thing most wrestling fans think of. So, where did that come from?
Well, originally I was future legend Black Scorpion, but last year my dad, he passed away,
I'm sorry to hear that.
and I don't know, it's fine, it's fine. He passed away, and I promised him that I was going to do my very best with wrestling, and I was going to take it as far as I possibly could. And his nickname was Epic. And I told him before he passed away that I was going to take Epic in my name and drop Black. So now I am future legend Epic Scorpion. So I carry him around with me everywhere I go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome because you guys, I mean, it's a heck of a story because if you ever do get signed, that's a story that every wrestling fan would love to hear. He used to watch wrestling. He used to watch Monday Night Nitro with you when you were 4 years old. And then here you are, living out this dream, in honor of him. That's an awesome story to tell, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that used to be one of my things. Like, me and my dad, we used to always talk wrestling. We used to like sit down and like watch matches on YouTube, watch TNA, watch WWE, compare and contrast. My dad was a real diehard wrestling fan, and when he heard that I became a wrestler, he was shocked. Like, he was honestly, his mind was blown. And honestly, like, I'm glad that like I got to share that dream with him. So like I said, everywhere I go, I carry him with me, especially when I step in those ropes.
Amen, brother. All right, so Epic Scorpion. So you touched on it a little bit, but where the name came from. But Keith and I have been, every time that we have a guest on, we always try to find your matches so that we can know who we're talking to, because we've never seen you wrestle before. So I couldn't find any of your matches. Is there any matches that are what I'm supposed to be looking for?
Yeah, I could if you want, I could send you a few things on YouTube. Can you guys still see me?
Yeah. Yeah. What happens
you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. It's just that, like, because just to go off of what I was saying was the fact that, like, we try to prepare for the interview and watch so that we could see you in action and say, wow, you got a really mean drop kick, or wow, you got a really mean whatever you do well. But admittingly, we haven't seen any of your stuff because we couldn't find it. And I don't know if we were looking in the wrong places, or, I mean, was it under the promotions YouTube channel, maybe?
Would you guys like for me to send you a link right now, or
no, not right now, not right
after...
now. After the show, we definitely want to see it. But my point is, my point in bringing that up to you was since we've never seen you wrestle, tell us about your style. Tell us about what kind of opponents you've had. Tell us maybe some of your best matches.
Well, my style, I like to go for more like a technical basis. My style, I like to go for like more of like a technical. Like, even when I do my research, like I try to strive to be like guys like Bret Hart or like Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, Desmond Wolfe. Like, I look up to guys like that. I honestly want to adopt their style a lot more and bring it with me into the ring and tighten up on more technicality than anything else, you know?
Okay. And
I
what
think
are
it's a great
some?
idea with so many guys going for, 10,000 dives and everything else, having that more mat-based technical style, which I'm a big mark for. I love the technical guys like that. I can watch, William Regal matches all day. I can watch, Desmond Wolfe, Nigel
Yeah, me
McGuinness
too.
and stuff. Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero from ECW. I could watch those matches all day. I love that ground on the mat stuff, and I think with so many guys really neglecting that now and trying to go for the flashy high spots and stuff, I think the technical wrestlers will almost become a novelty to the point that you're going to see the technical wrestlers breaking out more again because it's just novel. People don't see it like they used
Yeah.
to. The biker club in the background
Yeah,
there.
man. You got
I'm so sorry.
it's all right. It's cool. So tell us about like what match that you when you were done with that match and you went back behind the curtain, uh, you felt like, man, they got their money's worth out of us tonight, man.
Like I said, it was an incredible feeling. Like my heart was racing. I had to call everybody and like just out of pure excitement because it was just an incredible moment. Like I've never see it's different when you see it on TV. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that like that you want, but when you actually get it, it's like whoa. Like
Right.
I can't explain it.
Who was your opponent?
But it was actually a four-way match.
Okay.
I don't necessarily remember the opponents that well because
Right.
it's been quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a four-way match, and it was again I apologize.
No, man, it's all right.
It was a four-way match.
Mm-hmm.
It was every man for themselves. It was a fast pace. It was counter for counter. I showed off a little technical skill.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I didn't go over on that match,
Mm-hmm.
but just being there was just like it was just amazing.
So
Just
it was
like
a lot. It was
getting a spot off, and
it was a large crowd.
yes, it was a large crowd, and it was just explosive.
Awesome. I got a question here from Big Chris Vance. Says, "What's your height and weight?"
My height is 5'6", and I am 200 pounds.
So would you consider yourself like a cruiserweight kind of type, a somebody that would take on like some of the high flyers and stuff like that?
Yes, and I would actually go for a little bit more like little bit higher than cruiserweight, if anything. I don't want to
Like
be
say a
looked
Daniel
at as
Bryan, like
too much
say a
of a
Daniel
small
Bryan,
guy.
it's like a
Yeah,
Daniel Bryan.
yes, precisely, yes.
Colleen says hi to the professor. There you go, professor. You can say hi to Colleen.
That's awesome.
Her mom, as you know her.
I know. Um, so man, like, so what have you been up to lately? Because I know that a lot of guys have been having issues getting booked from COVID.
Yeah.
Have you wrestled much lately over the past year, or is it starting to pick up now?
Well, in 2020, I was trying to like do some more wrestling, but as you said, COVID happened and a lot of places got shut down. So for an entire year, I would say like I've just been like getting my mind mostly right because like I said, my dad also passed away.
Right.
Right.
So I was getting myself like, situated. But when 2021 hit, I found out that a place on is it Jamaica Avenue over here that there's a place to train. So ever since then, I've just been training like left and right
Getting
because I'm
bigger
trying to get
or
back. No, no, no. Like in ring.
oh,
Just
okay.
getting the ring rust off.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie.
Colleen says sorry for your loss. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. Thank you. I appreciate that. But Yeah, 2021 hit. Shaking off the ring rust, and I'm getting myself ready to go. I'm ready to take on bookings. I'm getting myself back into shape, and I'm ready to go.
So you haven't wrestled in how long?
The last time I wrestled was in November of 2019.
Wow.
You've had more than a year
So
off.
you're ready, man. You're ready. You're ready. Let's get back in that ring, right?
Yeah, I already took off enough time. And like I said, I have a promise to fulfill.
Yeah, and Keith, that would explain why we couldn't find a lot of his stuff, because if he hasn't wrestled since 2019, a lot of times, as far as YouTube goes, when you try to find this stuff, it goes to the more recent stuff. And because when I looked up Epic Scorpion, when I looked up, Epic Scorpion Wrestling or whatever like that, I got Sting. And I got Red Scorpion, and
Some old Black Scorpion promos.
there was a Black Scorpion promo, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't me though.
So when you get back into the ring, I mean, do you have somewhere where that's going to put you in the ring like soon, or bookers that want to book you?
So far I haven't been speaking to any bookers. I've been mostly trying to get myself back in the ring shape first,
right?
Because I don't want to perform at a show and I'm like stinking up the joint.
Right.
That's one thing you don't want. So mostly like I've just been training, getting myself back in ring shape, and getting myself ready to go.
Now, is getting signed by a major company such as Impact, WWE, AEW, is that the ultimate goal for you?
Yes, it is the ultimate goal. I need to at least win a championship on at least one of those, just to say that I did it for my dad.
That's awesome.
I just need that one moment where I could say that I'm the top guy of the company. Like I did it. Ultimately, though, it's maybe I'm not even gonna say it's far fetched, because anything can happen in this world.
No, it's not far fetched.
I will honestly love to have a WrestleMania moment where.
Oh man, I wish. No, it's not. I don't laugh at that to say, yeah, that's far fetched. No, I laugh at that. I scoff at that because that is shooting high, and that's what you should be doing. You know what I mean?
I ultimately want to like win the WWE champion at WrestleMania, and I know being at that pinnacle, I can truly say that I honestly did it. Like I think that'll be like the greatest moment for me because I feel like I made my dad super proud.
Reminds me of what Steve Austin always said. If you're not here to be the world champion, why the hell are you in this business?
Right.
Absolutely.
So speaking of the current business, how much of it do you still? I mean, I know you're trying to get back into ring shape, but in the meantime, have you been following any of the current product or any companies right now?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again? You were lagging a little bit.
I cut in and out. All right. Do you watch WWE or AEW?
Yes, I do.
How much of it, and what do you think, and what are your thoughts? And did you watch WrestleMania?
I saw WrestleMania. Honestly, the part one I thought was amazing. I thought it captivated a lot, and it just kept me so into it. Part two, I feel like only part two didn't do as good as part one is because I think part one already like set the pinnacle for it.
I am with you 1,000,000%.
Yeah, I think part two was kind of when we went back into kind of all the things that WWE gets criticized for in terms of their storytelling and whatnot right now. And, I think some things that needed more time didn't get it, and some things that they maybe should have given less time or where they put the time. And, Yeah, it was very much not the greatest.
Yeah,
But I
and
mean,
it was
I think it's also hard to have a show that is like 5 hours over 2 nights. I mean, I understand what WWE is going for. They want it to be the pinnacle, but I mean, me as a fan, I always feel like if you go much past 3 hours, you're losing the audience. You know, you don't need. I know there are
Yeah,
the people out there that are like, "Oh, but Ring of Honor, those epic 4 hour shows in the early 2000s and stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, they're good, but it's too much good." After a while, I'm just like, I don't remember where
yeah.
we started from. You know, I can't process all that information in that short amount of time.
here's the thing though, Keith.
Like like I completely understand what you're saying because there be times I've even gone to WWE shows live,
Mhm.
Mm,
and from beginning to end, there be a lot of times where the matches are so exciting to the point where it's like 11 o'clock, and it's like you're so tired, you're so burnt out, and it's like
yeah,
okay, it's like okay, can I go home now? I get it, this is awesome, but can I go home?
yeah,
Right. What I was gonna say was, Keith, is that I used to be dead against the 2 day WrestleMania, but I'm starting to warm up to it, and the reason why is not. And listen, I agree with Scorpion, and I agree with you that night two we could have done without, really, because night two really didn't offer much to really. I mean, yes, the triple threat match was pretty good. Edge
yeah,
versus Bryan
Yeah,
versus Roman was good, but that could have been just take everything else out and just add that to night one, and you got yourself, a great WrestleMania. My
right,
point is though is that when you try to get the entire or a lot of your best uh, talent involved in WrestleMania, it's kind of hard. They even had to have some of the guys wrestle at SmackDown WrestleMania for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Ziggler and Rude had to wrestle on SmackDown just to be part of the weekend. So once you
yeah,
had night one and night two, you had 7 matches at night one, 7 matches at night two. That's 14 matches. If you
yeah,
took all 14 matches and put them on one night, then everybody's going to get 5-10 minutes.
yeah.
At least this
that's
way,
true.
they get like 20 minutes or more each match to show everybody what they got, show the world what they got.
And I get that, but some of those matches, let's face it, those people
But
did
that's the
not
thing.
make a good impression, and some of them don't work there anymore now.
Correct, but they had
So
their
what
Yeah,
chance.
exactly, so what exactly was the point?
but at least they had the chance to shine.
They were on the
Yeah.
card, Keith. There's like Scorpion here would have loved to have been on that card.
And I
That's
mean,
my
Man, if I was on that card, especially night one, I would have given everything I've got and came out explosive.
absolutely. I believe it. So I got a question for you. There's a segment that we do. Um, some guys like it, some guys don't, but I'm gonna throw it your way. If you could book yourself against any wrestler, alive or dead or still wrestling, in a dream match scenario, who would it be and why?
Honestly, if I could book myself into a dream match with anybody, I would book myself with Eddie Guerrero.
There it is.
And the reason that is because his in-ring work is unbelievable. Honestly, I would love to take his frog splash, and one of my finishers is a frog splash as well, and I dedicate it to Eddie Guerrero. I call it the Latin Heat frog splash.
Nice.
So I would like to show off my frog splash to see if we could compare and contrast and see like if I could do better or there's stuff like that. So it would be awesome to have a dream match with Eddie Guerrero for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Eddie was so complete as a performer. I mean, I love Dean Malenko too, but Malenko, unfortunately, he didn't have that ability to convey the personality as much. Malenko was a guy
Yeah,
that I think 10, 20 years too late. You know, if he had come
Yeah.
along in the territory days,
Yeah.
he would have made money hand over fist.
I
Unfortunately,
100% agree with you.
yeah, unfortunately, that was a guy that Japan was great for him, and I think the Horseman run in WCW was great. For what that was. Unfortunately, I think that got kind of crippled by the NWO is everything
Right.
at that point. But
Yeah.
yeah, Eddie was the complete package though. He could do whatever you wanted or needed him to do in the ring. He had personality for days, and he knew how to get that out there and connect that with the crowd. I mean, a huge loss. I still miss Eddie.
As do
You're not the only one.
Yeah. That was a good man, Eddie Guerrero. That's one that a lot of guys pick, and for good reason. Eddie Guerrero was unparalleled, unbelievable. I don't remember watching a bad Eddie Guerrero match, even in his early WCW days when he had the mullet and all that. Yeah, I don't remember. I cannot remember a bad Eddie Guerrero match for sure.
Some bad creative involving Eddie Guerrero, but when bell to bell, he would overcome whatever terrible stuff they were giving him to do. And
you mean the lie, the cheat and steal thing wasn't up your alley?
Oh no, that part was great.
Oh, I love that. That was awesome.
When we got into hey Ray, your son is actually my son.
Oh, the Dominic ladder match.
Or some of the worked shoot LWO stuff, which didn't start out bad, but the problem was you knew it wasn't going to lead to him kicking the crap out of Bischoff and him getting elevated or anything like that, because you knew if it even started, somebody was just going to go, I don't know, brother. I'm not going to work with that guy, brother. It's not in my alley, brother. No, we're not going to do that. Or if we do that, 5 minutes leg drop done, out of here.
All right, man. So what, Scorpion? So what's the game plan? All right, you're working to get back into shape. You want to start to wrestle again. Do you have a game plan?
Yes.
What is that?
Well, like I said, my game plan first is to get back into ring shape, which I'm already doing.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, I'm going to be taking on bookings. I'm willing to do right now any type of bookings just to get myself started and just take it from there. See where everything goes from there.
Because there's a guy, Keith, that we know in VCW in Virginia, which is not too far a hike for him.
No.
To check out this guy that we know who is also in the exact same boat that Scorpion is. He's been out of the ring now for a year. He just now started to take on bookings, and he is looking for that natural opponent, and they're relatively the same size.
That is true.
And his name is Irvin Legend. Now, they could do a thing there. They can do a thing there where Scorpion calls himself the Future Legend, and he calls himself Irvin Legend, and they could have a feud, a damn good feud there, Keith, in VCW in Virginia. I'm just spitballing, Scorpion. I'm just saying.
No. It sounds pretty good. I like where you're going with
this because I feel like you should.
I haven't said a word. I'm just saying that Legend is getting ready to get back in the ring in VCW, and it wouldn't be a bad idea for Scorpion to look those guys up and say, "Hey, somebody told me you guys." Yeah, man. Because look it up on YouTube. It's VCW, Virginia Championship Wrestling, and the guy we're talking about is Irvin Legend. Irvin Legend, and you can see some of his matches over the past couple of years. He's phenomenal, and I would be front row ringside to see that match between you guys.
And you already know, with me in the ring, me and him working together, I guarantee we will over deliver.
Yeah, man.
I want to know a few promoters, closer to home too, in Pennsylvania and whatnot.
Well, me and Mark, yeah, but I mean, we're
in touch with Mark.
Yeah, but didn't he say he's in North Carolina? Aren't you in North Carolina?
No, no, I was wrestling in North Carolina,
Right,
but now
he's
I'm back in New
wrestling
York.
North Carolina, but he's based in New York. So I mean,
So closer
Yes.
to home. Yeah, I can hook you up with Mean Mark Mest, who runs Outbreak Wrestling.
yeah, we could send him some video. Try to help
That
you
sounds
out.
like a plan.
Because
Yeah,
that's really like the point of what we're trying to do on this platform is to give a platform to guys like yourself. Because you've been in the business how many years now?
well now
On
over
and
10.
off, maybe about over 10 years.
Okay. And that's what we're trying to do is, get with guys like yourself that are, veterans that are on and off, that COVID has kind of displaced you, and, just be able to like get you to a place where you can get your story out there if we can. Because like we just said, we know a couple of people that run shows. We know guys that work shows that, they send us people, they send us guests and say, hey, talk to this guy that he'd be really interesting, or talk to this girl, she'd be really interesting to talk to.
Mhm.
And we just try to hopefully make connections. And
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to do. We're fans. Like if we can get somebody who's really good on a show and we can get our butts down there and have a nice evening of wrestling or something, boom, that's the goal. That's the dream right there.
I
That's
can
what
if
I
you
respect
send
that dream. That's a beautiful dream.
if you send me a match, at least one, decent match of yours, I can send it to Mark, and then I can give Mark your name on Facebook, and then he can get in touch with you if he's interested. How about that?
That's not a problem at all. I'll send you a link right away as soon as we're done here.
Awesome, my man. Keith, the other thing, there was another thing I was going to ask him, but my mind just went blank because I got all excited about seeing him wrestle here in Pennsylvania, because
I'm an open book.
that's where I was. That's where I was in my head. I'm thinking to myself, I could see him in Outbreak, which is only literally 30 minutes from where I live. Outbreak Wrestling they've been staying afloat during the pandemic by doing just TV tapings and putting them out on YouTube and whatnot. And so now they're starting to get excited because now come July, they're going to start doing live. In July, they're going to start doing live shows again.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, and there's a couple other guys I don't want to name drop right now, but I'm going to see them soon. So I might mention your name there too, to see if they're interested in you as well. But Mark's the only guy I know that we can name drop where he'll be cool with it.
Mark's the nicest man ever. He doesn't care. He
he's a brilliant.
He encourages you to mention
Scorpion.
him.
He is a brilliant wrestling mind. He has been in this business forever. He was a wrestler. Now he's a promoter. He's a booker. He owns the wrestling school. The whole 9 yards. So I mean, if we put you guys together and something happens out of that, it'd be a thrill for me and Keith. I'll tell you that right now.
It's like I said before. It sounds like a plan.
All right, man. So we're gonna get you out of here. But in the meantime, before we do, I want to say, before I ask you my last question, I want to say thank you very much for your time today.
Mm-hmm.
I want to wish you all the luck in the world. I want to see you booked at WrestleMania, if not in the championship match, on the damn card. That would be an absolute thrill.
Yeah.
Absolute thrill for us that we interviewed you, and me and Keith would go, oh my God, remember Scorpion? He's on the card. That'd be great, man. So we wish you all the best. we wish you all the best. Just keep at it. Keep doing what you do, because you obviously have a passion for the business, and you have lots of drive, and I wish you the best, my man.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate the time that you guys have given me to get my story out there.
Absolutely.
It's awesome talking with you guys. This was a fun experience as well.
You'll be doing more of these.
Yeah, let's make it happen, man.
You'll be doing more of these, but with guys more famous than me, I think.
I'll always come back and check up on you.
We appreciate it.
So last question. Before we get you out of here, is there anything that you want to ask either myself or the professor before you go?
What made you fall in love with wrestling?
Keith loves that question.
I know, because I know the exact moment.
He knows the moment.
I know the moment.
Go ahead, Keith. Tell him the moment.
My brother was the wrestling fan.
Let me hear it.
So I was aware of it, but I never really watched it. I knew like who Andre the Giant was. I thought he was cool, but didn't really sit down and watch it. I had seen a couple of Ultimate Warrior promos, and when you're young, you're into the energy. You're not paying attention to the fact that not a damn thing he ever said made just rambled on forever. But he had it on one Saturday, and it was a segment of the funeral parlor. And I'm into, creepy horror movie stuff. I always have been. I love Dracula. I love Freddy Krueger. You put me in front of a horror movie, a decent horror movie, I'll sit and watch. I'll at least give it a chance. So I'm seeing all the like spooky
You and me are in the same boat on that.
Oh, there you go. So like there's all this creepy music and there's the lighting and then Paul Bearer's on the screen. And if you see Paul Bearer for the first time, that's an experience. So I'm like,
yeah,
it's happening. And then I see the Warrior. I'm like, okay, well, I know who that is. I know who the Ultimate Warrior is. And, they're talking and I see this just giant, creepy guy come out of the casket and beat the crap out of the Warrior, stuff him in the casket, and they lock it. And I'm looking at my brother. I'm like, what am I watching? Who are these people? And he's like, that's Paul Bearer. And that's the Undertaker. I'm like, okay, this Undertaker guy, is he on the show a lot? Yeah, he's around quite a bit. Cool, I'm a wrestling fan now. I want more of that. I'm gonna watch that.
So the
just
answer,
like that.
The answer to the question was the Undertaker.
Yeah. Yep. It was that episode of a funeral parlor. And it was so cool watching The Last Ride and Taker actually mentioned that very episode and said, that's when I knew it was working. And that's when I knew there was something to this Undertaker character and it had legs. And I'm like, wow, I got in on something that meant something to him too. Like
it's monumental in wrestling.
Something that was monumental. Yeah, there you go.
The guy had a 30-year career, All right.
Yeah.
So my story is a little shorter. and that is my stepfather at the time used to take me to wrestling whenever they were in town in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And he did this from about age 5, and they would do Superstars of Wrestling tapings there. And I was 5 years old, and he took me to an event where they did some Superstars of Wrestling tapings, and Roddy Piper was there, Snuka was there, Hulk Hogan was there, Andre the Giant, and I'm 5 years old seeing these guys, right? Like monsters, right? Monsters. So
huge guys.
The main event I remember distinctly, which was Hogan teaming up with Andre the Giant against King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd with Bobby the Brain Heenan. All right. So if that's not enough to make me fall into the business, they also taped a segment of the Superstars of Wrestling where Roddy Piper was interviewing Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And he cracked a coconut over his.
You were there for the coconut?
Yeah,
I remember.
That was at the agricultural hall, Keith.
How have we known each other this long and you've never told me you were there?
I told you that story 100 times.
I don't feel like you have.
That was only.
Wait. You were actually there?
I was in the building when he cracked the coconut over his head.
You were there for wrestling history.
Oh wow, that's actually awesome. That's something to talk about right there.
Yes, and I looked at him. I looked at my stepfather, and I fell in love with the business at that moment. I also fell in love with Roddy Piper, and that also gave me my love for heels. My entire life, I have rooted for the heels. All right, when Hogan was big,
Roddy Piper was one of the best heels.
He was.
I liked Hogan, but I liked Piper better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I was a Hulkamaniac because I was a kid, but I liked Piper better. And then when they were done, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff turned on him, so I was rooting for Mr. Wonderful against Hogan. That never happened. That never worked either. So then they would always throw these guys at Hogan. Then it was Andre the Giant. And then I thought and that was WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, he turned heel. That was something.
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way Hulk Hogan's going to beat Andre the Giant. There's no way. He was undefeated for 15 years. Lo and behold, WrestleMania 3,
Hogan
does
wins.
the slam. Hogan wins, right? So then there was a guy called Macho Man Randy Savage, who is my lost him.
He'll be back.
I hope he comes back. And no, Keith, I've told you that though. I've told you that
You
100
probably
times.
have, and I just forget because I pay attention to about half of what you say. You know, it's
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
That's all right,
But you
man.
said, but then
So
you
then there
mentioned a Macho Man.
Macho Man Randy Savage, when he first came into WWF, I didn't know who he was, but I was like, that guy is cool. Like, I want to be that guy. And Keith will tell you that Macho Man Randy Savage has been my all-time favorite forever and a day, no matter what happened to him. And the day that he died in the car crash, I felt like I lost a family member. I broke down crying. And I knew the guy was in his 60s, but I broke down crying when I heard he passed away. It was terrible. It was horrible. But Macho Man was always my favorite. So WrestleMania 4 obviously is my favorite WrestleMania. He wrestles 4 times and he wins the title at the end. But yeah.
In my opinion, he had one of the greatest personas in the business.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the best elbows too. The flying elbow. Like I used to watch like a whole compilation of just watching him do the elbow. He just has like this sort of finesse. I can't explain, but he's like the only person that does it the perfect way.
And every wrestler that's ever talked about him on a documentary type thing, like straight from the hip shoot, they say he was the easiest guy to work with. Like he took care of the guy he worked with, whoever he worked with, he took care of. And they knew if they were booked that night against Randy, oh, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. I'm just going to follow whatever he says because whether he's winning or whether he puts you over, it doesn't matter. What matters is you guys go out there and you look great.
As long as you didn't make him angry. I've read some stories about how Randy.
Can we not be negative about the Macho Man, Keith? Please.
Don't read Dutch Mantel's books then.
I didn't say The Undertaker was like a pothead or anything, but no, you got to go there.
No, he was a whiskey drinker.
I know he does drink whiskey.
He does.
Oh, by the way, did you guys see? Have you, Scorpion? Have you seen the Stone Cold Steve Austin Jericho interview yet?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Say that again.
The Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Have you seen any of those? And did you see Jericho's?
I actually have yet to see Jericho's, but I heard it's definitely something to watch.
It's 2 hours long, but it's awesome. It's awesome.
I heard he actually touches up on AEW on there.
Oh, yeah.
They talk about that a lot.
They talk about AEW most of the interview. But it was.
How do you think WWE feels about that?
Well, I mean, they cleared it first.
Yeah, I think Vince kind of looks at AEW and goes, "Okay, they are what they are. They're not really going to come for me."
He doesn't fear them as competition.
Yeah, I think he was looking at that as maybe like what ECW was back in the day of like, okay, they're doing their thing. This is not really going to threaten me.
Yeah, man, go watch that interview. It was awesome.
I definitely will. Most definitely.
Awesome. It was the best. Well, I mean, other than Taker, maybe it was.
The Kane one, really, none of them are bad.
They're all good.
Such a good interviewer.
They're all good, but Taker and Jericho are tied for first. Jericho's was really good.
Yeah, I can say that. I seen Undertaker's one. That was an amazing one. Like.
Yeah.
All right, man. We want to thank you again for being on Around the Turnbuckle. Thanks, man. We wish you the best. Go get it. Go get him. Send me a match. I'll send it to Mark, and hopefully,
not a problem.
And hopefully, Mark will be in touch, my man.
Thank you guys so much for having me on the show. Like I said, it's been a privilege, and hopefully, we can do this again.
Oh man, definitely, man. Keep in touch, man. We always like to keep in touch with everybody we've had on here.
Mm-hmm.
Not a problem.
Yeah, good luck and be safe out there, my man. We'll see everybody next. Keith and I will see everybody tomorrow at 6:00 for your next Around the Turnbuckle. We're out of here.
Is this on?
Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Shut up, fool!